The twin suns of the desert moon Vestoria, 5, were just sinking toward the horizon when Joran Hale heard the explosion. Not a natural one. He had lived on this backwater rock for 20 years and could identify every type of volcanic belch and shifting sand boom. No, this was metallic, sharp, the sound of something manufactured plummeting through the atmosphere and failing very spectacularly. He looked up from the engine block he'd been repairing, brushed sand from his sleeves, and grabbed his goggles. The day's work was nearly done. But a crash this close meant someone needed help. And out here, help was hard to come by. Joran climbed into his battered rover and followed the rising column of smoke curling skyward like a dark ribbon. As he approached the impact site, he slowed, expecting a wrecked shuttle or scavenger skiff. Instead, sitting half-buried in the sand dunes was a craft unlike any he had ever seen. Sleek silver-white, its structure composed of interlocking plates that shimmered as though alive. He parked the rover and stepped closer, heat still radiating from the hull. Then he saw her. A woman, tall, draped in a metallic garment, unconscious but breathing, lay on the sand near the ship. Her skin glowed faintly with a pearlescent sheen, and her hair, long and silver blue, spread around her like ripples of water. "Hey!" Joran knelt beside her. "Can you hear me?" Her eyes fluttered open, iridescent violet, oddly luminous in the dimming light. She stared at him for a long, disorienting moment, then whispered, I need help." "Well, you came to the right place," Joran said. "Name's Joran Hale. Mechanic, best one on this moon if I say so myself." She blinked slowly. "I am Elira." He noticed she didn't offer a last name. Her breathing was steadying, but she seemed exhausted, drained. "Can you walk?" She nodded, and he helped her to the shade of a dune. "What happened to your ship?" "An attack," she murmured. "Pirates. They wanted something of value." Joran looked at the sleek craft. "Guess you managed to get away." "Barely." She stared at the sand, her jaw tight. "I did not expect to crash on a remote moon." "Lucky for you this moon has me," Joran said with a half-smile. "Let me take a look at your ship." Elira hesitated, almost as if she didn't want him to, but finally nodded. "Be careful. It is delicate technology." That Joran could tell already. The next morning, he set up tools and scanners around the strange craft. Its hull seemed to shift under his touch, reacting to temperature, pressure, even sound. Every component was far more advanced than anything he had repaired before. Elira watched him closely as he inspected the damage. She seemed nervous, not about the repairs but about what he might discover. "Your ship runs on." "Well, I don't know what it runs on," Joran said. "But I can patch the fractures in the hull and reroute some of the systems. Won't be perfect, but good enough to get you off-world." Elira tilted her head. "You are not afraid of it." "Should I be?" "Most humans would be." Joran smirked. "I'm not most humans." For several hours they worked together. Joran climbed through access vents and service ports, deciphering alien mechanics through intuition and stubbornness. Elira assisted, though she seemed reluctant to touch the ship herself. When they paused to rest, Joran handed her a canteen. "You know," he said, "I've met a lot of travelers out here, but none quite like you." Elira froze. "In what way?" "Well, you're clearly not from anywhere local. And your ship, this is royal-grade tech. Military or diplomatic? Maybe both." Her expression tightened, and for the first time, Joran saw real fear in her eyes. "You must not speak of this to anyone. If the pirates track me here." "They won't," Joran said firmly. "Nothing happens on Vestoria 5 without me hearing about it first." She stared at him with an unreadable expression, then whispered, You are kind. Kinder than you know. By the evening of the second day, the ship was nearly functional again. Joran wiped grease, alien grease, off his hands and nodded with satisfaction. One more night of work and she'll fly, he said. Aelira's shoulders relaxed for the first time since he'd found her. She looked at the twilight sky, her voice soft. You have saved me, Joran Hale. Just doing my job. No, she said, turning toward him. You are doing far more than that. Her gaze held something almost sorrowful, as if she carried a weight she desperately wanted to share. But before she could speak, a sharp alarm echoed from the ship. A projection flared to life. 3 red dots approaching fast. Lyra's face went pale. They found me. Pirates. No, she breathed. Far worse. She reached into the folds of her garment and pulled out a crystal-like device. Joran, if anything happens, know that I wished I could have told you the truth. What truth? But she didn't answer. Moments later, 3 dark ships streaked across the sky, kicking up sand as they landed in a loose circle around the crash site. Heavily armored figures emerged, their insignias shimmering gold. Royal Guard. Joran muttered. Why in blazes? Before he could finish, the guards approached and kneeled before Aelira. Cathyra Aelira Valon, the captain said. Princess of the Luminara Dominion. We have come to retrieve you. Joran stared at her, stunned. Princess. Alien royalty. And she had been sitting beside him, sharing water and stories, while he repaired her ship. Aelira stepped forward, her back straight. Her expression transformed into one of regal composure. But when she looked at Joran, something soft flickered beneath the surface. You were never in danger, she said quietly. These are my protectors. They sought me after I fled an arranged treaty. One I did not want. Princess, we must depart immediately, the captain said. Your absence has already caused political unrest. Aelira nodded, but her eyes remained on Joran. You repaired my ship without question, she said. Without fear. Without expecting anything in return. Well, Joran managed. You needed help. I gave it. She stepped closer. You gave me more than that. You gave me trust. The guards began preparing her ship for departure. Aelira hesitated only a moment before pressing the crystal-like device into Joran's hand. This contains a star coordinate, she whispered. If ever you choose to leave Vestoria, 5. Come find me. Joran swallowed, unsure what to say. Are you asking me to? Just come, she said softly. One day. With that, Aelira turned and boarded her ship. The engines glowed with restored brilliance, humming with life thanks to his work. The craft lifted off, kicking sand around him as it rose higher and higher, until it became a silver streak against the night sky. Joran stood alone as silence settled around the dunes. He looked down at the crystal in his hand. Well, he murmured, smiling faintly, guess I'm not just a moonrat mechanic anymore. The desert wind answered with a whisper as the stars above shimmered, one of them brighter than the rest, waiting perhaps for his arrival.